Julius Malema has finally broken his silence after explosive allegations at the Madlanga Commission linked his name to an alleged illegal network involving suspended crime intelligence Major General Feroz and businessman Mohamed. But Malema says the entire story is false, and now the political battle has reached a boiling point. Speaking at a press conference in Johannesburg, the EFF leader pushed back forcefully against the evidence presented at the Madlanga Commission. Malema made it clear that he had no direct knowledge of the private WhatsApp conversations between Feroz and Mo that were shown to the Commission. But that's not all. Malema also rejected claims that Feroz secretly drafted parliamentary questions for him to use against former Inspector General of Intelligence, Dr. Isaac Dintwe. According to Malema, receiving information, documents, and tips from members of the public and even law enforcement officials is a normal part of an MP's oversight responsibilities. He insisted that asking questions in Parliament based on information received is not evidence of a criminal conspiracy, and that's where the story takes another dramatic turn. Malema strongly denied accusations that he had a quid pro quo relationship with Khan. He rejected claims that he offered Khan political protection during internal SAPS disciplinary proceedings, sought confidential VBS bank documents, or attempted to influence police fleet management tenders for the benefit of associates. The EFF leader didn't stop there. He accused police leaders and the Commission's evidence leaders of dragging his name into internal SAPS power battles. Malema insisted that he is being used as a political weapon in factional fights between senior police generals and warned those involved against making him part of their disputes. These are serious allegations and equally serious denials. The Madlanga Commission will ultimately assess the evidence before it, and no findings of wrongdoing against Malema have been made based solely on these allegations. What do you think? Is Julius Malema being unfairly drawn into a battle between police factions, or do the allegations raise important questions that deserve closer scrutiny? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others so they can stay updated on every major development from the Madlanga Commission. Now, let's take a closer look at exactly what Julius Malema said and why his response has everyone talking. Julius Malema, roll the tape.
Made it very clear, I know Khan. He was shot, and then we were told he's in a hospital. He can't speak and all of that, and I left it at that. If any call which I made was to Mohamed, you see, said that the mention was talking to Khan in the WhatsApps. That's the man I called. I said, what's happening? Did they really shoot this guy, or what is the story? Because others say he was shot, others say he was not shot. No, he said, hey, brother, he was shot, that guy. He's in a hospital. How did they shoot him on the leg? He says, no, they didn't shoot him on the leg. They shot him on the chest or something. But I had your information when I was speaking to Mohamed. And Mohamed had a clear, elaborate information of what happened and so on and so forth. And I left it there. Because I couldn't go and see him. I can't call him. I can't do anything until Madlanga has done his work. If there's anything wrong that Khan has done, the Madlanga Commission must take him on. It's wrong for that young man of MK to say, I prevented Khan from coming to the other committee. I never did that. I asked the question, on which basis are we calling Khan? Whoever said we must call Khan should have given the reasons why, because I had no reason to call Khan. So I shouldn't ask you a question when you say, let's call Khan, and I ask you, why? Why should you call Khan? Foolish as they are, they can't reason. They keep quiet. They run away. They don't say anything. And then Khan doesn't get called. They blame it on me, as if I was running the committee alone. I'm not the type you will say things I don't question. I will question. Skosana said we must call judges. You remember that? Skosana said we must call judges. I said, you can't say judges. You must say a name because judges is huge a concept. It includes the whole judiciary. And when it comes to judiciary, you must be very specific when you attack it. You must not just be using a blanket approach towards all the judges because that thing is the last line of defense. If we delegitimize that sphere of government, we must know we're all in danger. So, Skosana, which judge do you want us to call? He says, yeah, Julius Malema. Julius Malema is the one who's criticizing judges. Now he says, we must not call judges. You see, that's the problem of people who don't think. I ask you, which judge we must call? You say Julius Malema. Am I a judge? I'm saying to you, I thought he doesn't understand English. I even said to him in Zulu, Faki gama baba. That's how we work here. I gave him a name because he's a coward. They are all cowards and they behave like they're brave. I said, do you want to call Judge Ledwaba? You must go and listen to those things. They're recorded in that thing of parliament where they record everything. I said, you want to call Judge Ledwaba because everybody here speaks about Judge Ledwaba, that Judge Ledwaba has been given a bribe, Judge Ledwaba gave bail, is that the person you want us to call? He couldn't budge. He went to Twaka. Tomorrow I'm going to be blamed that I said they must not call judges. When I called, which judge? He was going to put a name and I was going to say, why? Why this one? They said we must call them on the basis that they are mentioned. I said Zuma is mentioned. If there's an issue I take with that committee, is that Mkwanazi said, Mtetwa called him and said to him, you must employ Mdluli in the crime intelligence. And then Mkwanazi refused. And after he refused, Mkwanazi went to tell the president, who was Zuma, and said to Zuma, this guy wants me to do a wrong thing by appointing Mdluli without following a due process. Zuma said to him, unga resign manje, ithi ngithola omunye uzo-acta before resign. Instead of Zuma saying, what are you saying? He wants you to commit wrong things. Give me time, let me call that minister and hold him accountable. We never called Zuma to ask him, why didn't you call Mtetwa who made Mkwanazi to appoint a person wrongfully as a president? So if we are using the basis that a person is mentioned must be called, Zuma was mentioned. Mbalula was mentioned. Many people were mentioned there. But there was no basis within which we wanted to call them. So that's the question I asked about Khan. Why? So the young man goes there. All of you make an issue about me for obvious reasons because I make you trend. If you write about your grandfather, you will not even trend. Where they say Malema, you just jump. You don't process anything. This guy says, I got called into a meeting with those guys of cigarettes in KZN. I forgot their names. He was called by Zuma's PA into that meeting in Durban. He was sitting in the meeting and they said to him, why do you trouble our guy? As he's still trying to justify himself, they take out a phone and call Khan and put Khan on the speaker and make him to talk to that guy. Those guys don't trend. Zuma doesn't trend. Zuma doesn't trend. I want to say their names, man. They will think I'm scared of them. What are their names? Those cigarette guys who used to work with Duduzani in KZN. No, there's a guy, man. He's known in KZN for cigarettes and he's an Indian guy. for cigarettes and security. Kaji. They are the Kajis. Kaji, they call him. He tells Madlanga, Kaji calls Khan and put him on the thing, on video call, and then Khan starts saying the things he said to this guy. Kaji doesn't trend. I'm asking you the name here deliberately. You don't even know it. A name of a person who called a member of an ad hoc committee to speak to Khan. That is not a problem to you. Zuma, who organized that young man knew that if he's called by that lady of Zuma to a meeting and he doesn't go to that meeting, the job is finished. Zuma doesn't trend for organizing a meeting where they try to squash Khan's case with Kaji in the corners. It's not an issue, that. But it's like, I organized a meeting for that guy. That guy mentions that thing, all of it, in the Madlanga Commission, and then says, outside all of that criminality, says Malema is the one who stopped the ad hoc committee to call Khan. That is a big issue. We all refuse to think, how can Malema stop the whole committee? And he reminded me, but I lived that life from when I was young. My parents used to be called to school because I caused a strike that lasted for more than 3 months. So parents had to be called. And we're in a school where learners were more than 1,000, overcrowded. So when they call parents, I've got 2 options, either to send my mother or my grandmother. My mother was not an option. She was going to agree with those people, or this thing is a problem. So my grandmother will go. More than 100 parents will speak in one language. And then they will ask my grandmother to respond. And she will defeat them with one question only. And she will be speaking in Veneg. le ra gore bana ba 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 ntšhintšhi ba ba lena ba ba tetše mo ba ntšha ke sello a le tee sello bana ba ka mokana bona. And then that guy says the same thing. Or batho ba le ba ado comic ka mokana bona ba tetše kua ba stopile ke sello a le tee or ba bitše Khan. Me. So he's also confessing that he's useless himself. He doesn't belong to the EFF. Why didn't he insist? You all know in that committee, when they stop you, but that your time is finished, you always find a way to come back, maneuver, order, chair. Skosana used to harass us there. If you go and look at the times, who spoke more than any other person in that committee, you're going to find is Skosana of MK, who said a lot of nothing. Only to come and say, Julius. And then Madlanga writes me questions about Khan and Mohamed speaking to each other. So they say Malema says this. The chief says he wants a VBS docket. What? And then they ask me, I must respond to the conversation of two adults who are talking about me. Like you all do, without me being the CIC chief, they say chief that. All Madlanga investigators must do is that, okay, these guys said to Khan, we want a VBS case number, a person who opened the case, the address. Then look between that date where the case was asked or when it was retrieved from the files of the police and the day of Madlanga, and go and ask the investigating officer, what happened? They wanted a case, perhaps they wanted to intimidate you or the witnesses. So in between year and year, what happened? Because I don't know what case they are talking about. I don't know who's the investigating officer. I've never spoken to any investigating officer. A proper investigator will say, okay, maybe they wanted a docket, they wanted his address, they wanted to intimidate him, oh no. They wanted to offer him money, oh no. Let's go and find out from him. Has there been anything from Malema to you since you opened this case? Has there been anything to any witness since this case was open? I've never done anything like that in my life. Khan goes to a DC. The chair is Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. They say Khan was looking for that case because I was going to help him with his DC. With Chackalson, by implication, he implies that I did that. If I did that, I did it with Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi then. Because Khan was cleared by Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, who came to the committee and said, actually Khan deserves an award from SAPS. That's Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi saying that about Khan. That's Julius Malema saying that about Johnson. No one says, look at this, look at this. Why did Mkhwanazi say Khan deserves an award? The same way you say, why did Julius say Johnson is Winnie Mandela? Why are you not saying, why did Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi say Khan deserve an award from SAPS for saving the day on that day? And you want me to listen to what you are saying when I know that you are full of hypocrisy, inconsistent, and full of vendetta. And you think what you are saying can get to me? No inconsistent person will ever get to me. No one. I'm giving you a typical example. In the same committee, I say, Johnson, you are like Winnie Mandela. Then more information gets revealed in Madlanga. Look at this, Julius. Look at this, Julius. In the same committee, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi says, General Khan deserves a SAPS award for saving SAPS on that day. More information gets revealed in Madlanga. No one says, look at this Mkhwanazi. Look at this Mkhwanazi. And I must respect your views. You think I don't know that you are wishing bad things for me? Like whoever says, is